That was a good one.
Mine was better.
Welcome to Based It Out the Box, episode 2.
2. Welcome back. You're joining in again. We got some good stuff that Khristopher apparently spends a lot of time with.
Cryptids.
Cryptids.
AKA that thing that Krystal just learned the definition to the other day.
That was like 2 weeks ago. Yeah, I didn't know what cryptid was.
So what is a cryptid, Krystal?
It's like a urban legend. It is like a mystical creature type of thing, like half animal, half whatever.
What are your thoughts on cryptids, Krystal? Do you believe in them?
I mean, I question everything, so no.
No. Okay.
No.
So I knew that you were gonna be doubting. And I'm not saying to believe everything, but
I most definitely don't believe cryptids though. Like, come on, bro.
do you know who Forrest Galante is?
Nope. Somebody who believes in cryptids?
Forrest Galante. No. So I'm bringing him up because it segues me into my point.
Okay.
Forrest Galante is he's an adventurer. He's a what's that? He's a
Weirdo.
conservation, like he's a conservationist or whatever they call him. Basically, he helps animals, right?
Okay.
But his specialty,
It's a good guy.
His specialty, yes, his specialty is finding animals that people think are extinct.
So he's trying to validate the existence of cryptids? Is that what we're getting at?
No.
Then
But the point I'm making is that this guy has discovered animals that we have thought were extinct.
Like?
One of them was like this tortoise that he just found that they thought it's literally like the rarest animal on Earth currently.
Oh,
There's only like a handful of them.
I want to see a photo later.
Yeah,
I don't believe it. That's why.
His specialty, like he was looking for the Tasmanian. I don't know if it was a Tasmanian tiger or something like that. He was also looking for like I think it was like a giant sloth or something. So he's somebody who specializes in seeing if an animal is actually extinct, and he actually travels to a lot of places like Papua New Guinea, like to I don't know if the Amazon's in the same place, but to the Amazon. I never said I was good at geography.
Hey, I'm worse.
but like he goes to a lot of remote places, forests, mountains, whatever. He goes to a lot of like remote areas.
Okay.
And he talks to a lot of the people that are from there, and he goes based on like a lot of their stories, because they talk about these, like, they perceive them as like these mythical creatures or like this or that, like, it could be like a giant lizard, but they think it's like a dinosaur.
Okay, so all the ones that he's been over there,
it's more mysticized. Like it's they they're like legends that have been passed down to him, but a lot of times it's an actual animal.
So he hears these stories and he's just like, hey, I'm gonna go check it out then, see what's up, see if it's real or
because
if it's just fake and phony.
Is he connects the dots to what they're looking at, and he sees what real world thing matches what they're thinking they're seeing. Okay. And then he goes out there, he talks to them, he talks to the tribes and all that other stuff.
And then he shows them, he's like, is this what you saw?
kind of.
He's like, but actually, it's called a...
But, whatever.
Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah. But, so that's kind of one of those things that helps reinforce. And again, I'm not saying that I believe in the mystical aspect of open. It. But I think that he proves my point of people are seeing this fantastical version of something, and who's to say it's not something else? Like the other day when we were talking, and you're asking me about Bigfoot and this and that, where I was like, look, like I don't think it's like some crazy mystical creature that shuts off electronics and this and that, but it could be really misinterpreted as something else. And that's where he comes into play, where it's like he sees these people that are talking, like these tribes people and like these people who've been in these remote areas where they've been telling these stories down the line. They see this crazy creature that they think is something, and it turns out it's a giant sloth, or it turns out it's this or that. Like it's a real world thing, So
he has not been able to say anything on any cryptid then.
No.
Nobody has.
Not like a legit cryptid like the Loch Ness monster or like the Mothman or anything like that. But like it's their
Chupacabra.
it's like their version of their cryptids. Like they have like these, you know, these animals that they see and they're like,
No, yeah, there's a
parts of their
ton of
lore.
cryptids. I was over here, what is a cryptid? And then I'm like seeing all these things that are cryptids. I was like, no way.
Yeah,
I just okay.
it's a very vague term.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's kind of what helps me um believe some of it, and not so much like believe like, oh, there's a Bigfoot, or oh, there's a Loch Ness monster, or oh, this, or oh, that, or that. But there could be just something that could be, you know, they're mislabeling it.
And they're kind of everywhere, these cryptids. They're everywhere. They're all over the
Yeah.
world. They're migrating. They don't stay in one place.
But
They're
yeah,
all
so
over
like
the world.
that's my thing, is that like, I see him, and it's like he's like a real world adventurer that goes out there and tries to find these crazy creatures, and not even crazy creatures, but he tries to find these creatures that everybody thought were extinct, and he's found some.
Okay.
So, that's where that's my foundation, where it's like, all right, well, there's a guy who's doing this shit.
So what do you got for me right now then? What is one that you're thinking yourself like, all right, I could definitely see how this one could be a real thing? Is there one in particular that you're more sold on than all the others? I'm not sold on any of them. Really. I like the idea. They're interesting stories to tell like at campfires and whatever. But I mean, I just don't feel like any of them are believable.
Really?
Mhm.
All right, so like
Mhm.
Loch Ness monster, for
Got it.
instance. Okay,
Mhm.
so like that one, there was a dinosaur that looked like it.
We had dinosaurs.
Yeah, so there was a dinosaur that looked like it, and they had like a whole thought where it could have gone through like these underwater, like, basically like underwater canals, underwater tunnels, and it got trapped there. Um, but I mean, there's a lot of things like that where it's like it could, there was a real world counterpart to it, like Bigfoot.
So did it like freeze up in time and then it defrosted and then it
No, I mean, I don't think necessarily that, but I
um,
think that, like, you know, there's alligators, there's crocodiles. Those are basically dinosaurs. This could have been something that just got, he took a shortcut, and he's like, oh damn,
he got left behind.
I can't go
Oh
back. Like,
no. Not
oh,
much of a shortcut,
yeah,
huh?
and it's just like who knows, or like Bigfoot, like, Bigfoot. I think the idea of it could be possible.
Okay.
They have, like, have you ever tripped out on all the animals that were in North America before, like, everything got settled?
No.
We had a crazy ecosystem. Like, we had animals that you wouldn't connect with, like, North America,
Mm-hmm.
you know? Um, so that's kind of what helps me reinforce that, where it's like, all right, well, like, there was a like jaguars and like different types of like big cats in Mexico, and parts of North America and things like that, where it's like, who's to say, there couldn't have been some, monkey, or
I could see the Bigfoot one being real, but not like how they're saying. The only reason why I'm saying I don't really believe in any of this stuff is because there's there's no evidence. There's just reports and there's really sloppy, disgusting photos that I'm just like, that's embarrassing. Why would you even be showing that to people? Like, no one's gonna believe you. Yeah, I give you A for effort. That's about as far as it goes. But the lack of evidence for all of them, I just, technology has come so far, and you still can't give anything.
but I think, how can you give evidence for something that you have no base on? You know, like, there have been people who found like fur, and it just comes up as inconclusive. Like, how can you test against something that you don't have a database for? And there's been we were talking about this earlier
Why don't they
today.
catch it?
So
Why don't they set traps?
who's who's to say it's dumb?
Why
Um,
have why
I
haven't they done
mean,
it though?
dude, there's animals that avoid traps now. There's like coyotes and wolves and things like that they're around these traps and they learn to, not get caught up and be stupid.
But yeah, humans will get caught in these traps. I'm just saying.
Well,
well, how are we at the top of the food chain?
I don't think we are.
But that's for another one.
But the other thing too is again, like real world counterparts, right? Mm-hmm. Who's to say a Bigfoot, and I use that term just to kind of paint the picture of it, like a Bigfoot. But who's to say that's not like, and it's not an animal, but it could be just like the missing link, like how they say, like, oh, like it could be the link between us and like that missing part of like, why aren't we evolving anymore? And that's why it could be that it's not dumb, is because it's more us than we think, and again, like,
I would like to see one.
We look at it and like, I think the problem is that the crazier people are louder about anything else, so they kind of screw it up for everybody because they're like,
zero filter. They got no filter.
Dude, there's this guy. I'll show you the video later. There's a guy who said he got kidnapped and assaulted by a female Bigfoot.
Oh.
Who just held him against his will and just yanked it. And he's like,
What?
So,
what? I don't know what he was on, but buddy, you got bigger problems. Let me just start and end right there. Cause
so
nay.
So you see what I mean? But like, these are the people that get more attention because they're the loudest ones. Like, it's a meme. Like,
and why do I imagine him with an accent? Like, no, man, she got me, and I saw it.
Low key, kind of had one of those. But then there on the other side of it, the things that you don't really hear about is like, there's a kid. I was telling you that I watch a lot of videos on like the missing 401s and like kid things like that. So one of the big ones I was watching was on kids that go missing and get found in national parks, and a lot of them have wild stories. Have you heard any of these?
No, but
so I don't know the specific names of the kids, but I know kind of like the general idea of what happened to them. So one of them was this little girl, and she was in the I don't know what national park they were, but she was with her family. And next thing you know, gone.
So what, you think they like?
Hold on.
Bigfoot family.
Hold on.
They needed to
You're
adopt.
getting ahead of me. So she's gone, and it's a kid. She's like a barely older than a toddler. We're talking about single digit age.
Okay.
Can't get that far.
Yeah.
They end up finding her by going outside of their search area. Okay. They built a search. So anytime they do a search area, they build a search area based on variables.
Yeah.
The age, your health, this, that.
She couldn't have gone this far. So
exactly.
Let's just cover this ground
outside
here.
That search area. So she was miles away from where she was.
Aliens got her.
Hold on.
Oh boy.
This kid was old enough to be able to talk. So she said that she was picked up by a hairy person, like a hairy, and that they took her to like a cave and took care of her and kept her warm and this and that, and that something along the lines of like they got spooked, left, and she came out of the cave when she heard people calling, and that's how they found her, miles away from where she should have realistically been, given her size and everything like that.
I mean, I know there's no perfect parent, but like these parents for real didn't notice that their toddler ass daughter
there's a lot of stories in national parks where people just go missing like that. Like I shit you not.
How do you not pay attention to your kid though? It's like, oh, we're safe.
If you look it up, there's a lot of them where they turn around for a second, boom.
For a second.
There, yeah. Things happen fast.
So then this hairy creature was just waiting until they turned away, and he was like, my turn.
I don't know.
Yep.
All I'm telling you is what the little girl said, but you get what I mean is that like on one hand we have this guy.
Though. The parents, I think they did all that.
But here's the thing is that
they needed a story.
They called the people like right away after they found out that she was missing. It's not like she was missing for a long time, because if she was missing for a long time, she would have been like, her clothes would have been all messed up. She would have been all like.
Did she say what they?
She said, yeah. She said they like fed her like berries and stuff like that. She wasn't gone for a super long amount of time. her clothes weren't all tattered, like she wasn't all beat up from dude, like it's a national park. She would have been messed up by whatever's out there. But she was fine. She was in perfect health.
How many of these hairy creatures were around her?
To my knowledge, with that story, it was like one, But I'm saying is that like there's multiple
You
of
see what I'm
these.
saying though? That's definitely up for question, and that's
It's a
something
weird
that
one.
I being me who I am, I'd be looking at the parents. I'd be looking at the family like, first of all, how did y'all just look away for 1 second
But
and this
again,
big hairy creature was
they
what,
they
walking
didn't
on air?
they
You
didn't
didn't hear
see
it? You
they
didn't
didn't
see?
see what took her. They didn't hear a sound. They basically turned around, looked, and she was gone.
Freaking A,
They
man.
call they
It's so giant. There's there's so many things that it could be, making
a
noise.
lot of people don't see a mountain lion creeping up on them.
Hey, but that's different.
No, it's not.
Yeah, it is.
Who's to say?
It's very sneaky. That's why.
You know what I'm saying? Is that like
They're
you
stealth
you
though. They're
can't,
stealth.
but
So
you see what you're doing. You're discounting an animal, but that you don't know. You don't know how sneaky this thing is. All I'm saying is that
it's stealth,
the timeline of everything didn't add up because it's like, had these have been neglectful parents,
which they were.
they probably wouldn't have found her alive, or they would have found her in rough shape. But this kid was also able to articulate herself enough to say what, generally what happened. Why wouldn't she have said, "Oh, they left me out here. Oh, this or oh that." No signs of trauma, no signs of PTSD, no physical issues. She was fine. So it doesn't add up. It's weird.
That is
It's
weird.
a weird one. So
Okay.
that's what I'm saying is that like there's things like that where you don't really hear about those because it's outshined by the guy who got, who had a Bigfoot girlfriend.
Had an intimate moment.
He had an intimate moment against his will.
Yeah, he didn't ask for that. He didn't give
Consent.
any did he give mixed signals though? Like, was he looking in her direction? How did he know it was a she?
He
How did
accidentally
he know it was a she though?
He accidentally did a mating call.
Yeah. He was like, for the sake of my sanity, I'm just gonna say it was a she.
Yeah.
Like, how'd you know, dude?
At that point, I don't think it matters. But yeah, so it's like, so that's what I'm saying is that like cryptids are so fun because of the fact that it could be something crazy that we just can't picture in our head. Like, bro, think about it this way: the fucking the giant squids. They pictured them as krakens destroying ships and doing this and doing that. It wasn't up until relatively recently, in the grand scheme of things, to human existence, that we found giant squids. And that's what they thought were krakens.
What's a giant squid? Like, how big?
Like, we're talking about like their tentacles are like over 100 feet. Like,
What?
these things are enormous. Yeah.
Tentacles that big?
Yeah. Dude, they would find
that could kill me.
They would find like whales with like the tentacle marks on them, like huge ones, just messing them up.
Oh.
So you get what I mean? It's just that like there's all these things that could be grounded in some form of reality, but it's like you can't really like when I was tripping out when I saw how big an eagle was in person, I was like, holy crap, like dude, that's a big ass bird.
Yeah, when you just see them from afar, you're like, eh.
Yeah, like you see them on TV. Like I was watching something the other day on I think it's Mongolians, where they have like an eagle. I think it's a golden eagle or something like that. And they basically play Pokemon from when they're kids. So they get this like chick, they're raised with it, they form a bond with it, and they use them to hunt. But the way that they use them to hunt, at least in the video I saw, I don't know if it's like 100% like that's how they all do it.
Yeah.
These big ass eagles, like we're talking huge, big enough to pick up a goat. Like I don't know how big the goat is,
they
but like
dig their claws into them.
So they'll pick them up, they'll lift them and just drop them.
Oh.
And then the Mongolians, I think you've seen those videos where or they'll like drop them off the sides of cliffs. And then the Mongolian dude comes and just grabs it. And he just picks it up, just takes it home. Like, all right, man. Another good hunt.
Yeah. I did all by myself.
But it's like, you trip out because like, you see the video of the bird flying. You're like, that's, But then you see the bird near him or on him. And you're like, oh my God.
And okay. So with all that being said though, I personally want to get into one that you yourself, I'm going to bring it up. The Chupacabras.
Oh man,
The Chupacabra. El Chupacabras.
Every Mexican in the '90s nightmare.
Puerto
we
Rico.
were all
Oh.
we were all, oh man, it's an alien, it's a genetic experiment. It got released by a lab. Oh man, dude. It was on
the
Primer
alien pet.
Impacto.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Telemundo, all that.
Oh man.
Yeah,
I
yeah, yeah.
remember that.
No, but you remember when you were at grandma's house and you were in the back all by yourself and you didn't even want to get out your room because you said there was a scary creature. It's the Chupacabras.
Yeah.
And you're like, nah, for real though. For real. It was like digging a hole back there. And I was like, bro, you're tripping. Like, what did you even have that night? Because there ain't no way. There's no way.
That's how stories get started.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But
That's
you
how
didn't
stories
go.
get started.
You didn't tell the right person because I was like, shut up.
No, that's how stories get started.
You know, though, it's still circling around. I would have thought that it would have died down already.
Nope.
Did you hear about the one? It was at the zoo in Texas. It was at the Amarillo Zoo.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a real sketch photo, of course, just like all of them. And that one, it was really like weird looking, but again, you could just see it from afar. It more so looked kind of like a silhouette, but they're trying to say that it was a person in a costume or a coyote on its hind legs.
Well, one that they thought that it was so one of the working theories is that they think that it was a coyote with really bad mange.
No, well, that's why they were saying it was a coyote on its hind legs, and that it looked
real bad mange.
I could see it looking like the coyote though. The more I was looking at it, I was like, yeah.
Well, you remember,
or it
like,
could be a person in a costume.
TJ.
Yeah, but it could, yeah.
Remember,
yeah,
like,
and it could
like
be
how they get like roña all bad and they'd be like all like scabied out and just like right there, just like and they'd live forever somehow. But yeah, it's like
drinking that TJ water. There's something in there.
That was one that they thought that it was just like that it was a coyote with just like really really bad mange, and then.
But remember all the videos and stuff that would circle around how, and they
all
were
over the news,
all over the world. This Chupacabras was getting around,
yeah.
And it was just like the vampire, and they all had like. I remember watching all of it, and you could see that the goats that they specifically targeted goats apparently, and then that they would leave like vampire marks, like the 2 holes you could see where it was sucking the blood, and I'm like, nah.
Well,
there's no way.
So there are animals that do drink blood, but they don't only survive off blood. I think what it is that there's like a nutrient in the blood that they're deficient on, so they do drink blood.
Well, like I get that, but like
that's not like their diet. You know, that's not what they live off of.
Jesus, though. I mean, did you see?
Wasn't it perfect nightmare fuel though?
No, but like, do you remember how many they'd be like, it killed my whole stock, and I'm like, nah. I think you did it, and you're getting attention, and I really hope it was worth it. Cause
I mean, coyotes. So they were tripping out because animals were like they were killing their entire thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember the movie Zootopia?
Mm-hmm.
Where the animals go like into a frenzy?
Yeah.
That's a thing. So coyotes, when they get into a chicken coop, they go into like they go like bloodthirsty, like they go into a frenzy. Like they're not even hungry; they're just killing to kill.
Oh.
So a lot of people go, no, coyote can fucking do that. No problem. Easy. Light work. They go in there, they kill a chicken, and then just start spazzing out.
You want some too? You want some too?
You know, and they just start like
poor chickens, they're all running away. Get back here.
Yeah, and then all the noise and all the blood, it just creates just the perfect like scenario for just a slaughter.
Psychotic moment.
It's like in 300, you know.
I think he went back and had to talk to the therapist about that.
Like, yeah, like, oh, I didn't mean to do it.
I didn't know what was happening.
I don't know.
It's like I was there, but I wasn't.
That chicken is he just screams so loud. I don't know what came over me, but yeah, like they go into a frenzy, and a lot of people go, oh well, you know, the coyote wouldn't do it because they wouldn't leave food, because normally predators, especially like a scavenger type predator like a coyote, they're not going to leave food. So that's why they were tripping out, like, oh, like it can't be a coyote, like why didn't it eat it? Because they just snap. They just snap and they just start killing everything, and then they just kind of like they're like, oh shit. Like,
when nothing else is moving, they're just like, I guess
like,
I think I took that one a little too far.
yeah,
It's a
now
little too
I
far.
ruined it for everybody. I could have just taken
I don't
one.
know
We
why I
could have
have
been,
no friends.
yeah, like, so yeah, they just spaz the hell out and they see red and they just murder everything.
That's crazy.
So yeah, so again, you know, there's so many things that are grounded in reality where it's like, oh, a coyote with mange that can kill a bunch of chickens and just spaz out, like boom, chupacabra.
Hey,
You know?
I mean, we got a name for it then.
Yeah.
Whatever.
But then there's those other ones that I just
Are you gonna bring up Mothman? Is that where you're going? Go for it.
that's
What?
an owl.
It's an owl? I mean, I know you hate owls
I do
though.
not like owls. They have there's no reason for them to look the way they look. I don't like the only owls I like are those cute little ones. Those ones that like burrow.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about? Those are cute. But those gigantic ones that
And
you
then
see,
they turn their head and they look at you at all
they're
angles.
big. They are huge. And owls are vicious.
You
And
say they look like they don't have a soul.
they don't. They don't. Like
I'm gonna get you a pet owl.
No.
And your
No.
birthday's coming up.
Owls are just
I'm such a great sister. I want to get you something that no one has ever given you.
No, thank you.
I will.
But I think Mothman was an owl. I think Mothman
was or is. You think he died?
Whatever they saw, it was an owl. But then like you get these crazy ass people. Like I was watching damn, I forgot what I was watching. But I think it was the BuzzFeed episode where they were like, oh, the lady was like, yeah, the Mothman came in and was trying to kidnap her daughter, so she fist fought the Mothman and kicked them out and this and that. And it's like,
oh, she's a bad mamma jamma. Okay,
you get these people where it's just like
she fought the Mothman.
You know, we circle back to
she's a survivor.
What we always talk about, and it's, you know, people just like to be like seen. They like to be heard. They like to have this attention, and you know, they have this wild,
even
wild
though they sound
story.
so batshit crazy, dumb,
Somebody's
retarded.
gonna believe them.
Yeah, there's another batshit crazy, dumb retard out there. Like, oh my god, yes.
Yeah.
Like,
so it's like,
oh god, the world we live in.
Yeah. So it's like, you know, there's
nothing surprises me anymore.
There's stuff like that where it's just, you always have these just ridiculous people that just ruin any sort of what it could be, and it just, you know, makes people not even want to explore the option, not even want to explore it because
yeah, you know, I could see that.
So
because it's like you're so ridiculous with it, and you're coming with zero proof.
Mm-hmm.
So
loud,
yeah,
and obnoxious.
Yeah, go find something else to do with your time. You know what I mean?
So it's like,
take a cooking class. You look like you need to learn how to cook or something.
So it's like, who's gonna want to do that? You know, and it's like, you know, when you think, you being somebody who is a skeptic on, you know, most things, when you think of Bigfoot, automatically you think of somebody that's like, I saw a Bigfoot, you know,
yeah,
just like
with
some
that accent and everything,
wild
for sure.
ass, like,
hillbilly.
You know, some crazy ass story that makes absolutely no fucking sense. You don't think about some guy going, yeah, dude, I don't know, it could have been a monkey or something. Like, it was just like, you know, creeping around there.
Nope.
You know, like,
because nobody really in their right mind, educated and everything, would automatically.
It's not even that. It's just that those people talk themselves out of seeing something.
They don't talk themselves. They reason.
But
they reason.
They talk themselves. It's the same thing. They talk themselves. They could have genuinely seen like, something, and they go, whatever.
How real did that sound? I just said that in my own mind. I didn't even say it out loud. Yeah, that was pretty ridiculous, you know. So they reason with themselves and with what they saw.
It's like that whole thing where it's like you stare in the dark long enough, you're gonna see something.
Yeah.
You know, it's like you ever just stared at a spot long enough and then
you think it's a spider.
It moves and you think it's a spider.
Yes.
Yeah, so I think it's
I just did that yesterday.
But I think that also
it was actually a baby cricket. But go on. It was a baby cricket on the wall.
I think that also has to do with our wiring, where you know, we go back to being like hunter gatherers, and like when we were looking out, we kind of had to be alert, you know. So who knows? That's not something that's just kind of primal, that's still there, that just to keep us in that like flight or fight, you know, kind of, you know, on edge, just to keep yourself aware. Like,
Mm-hmm.
who's to say that's not just something there? Like, why else would we imagine things that are there that kind of puts you in a
Because
heightened state?
we have a vivid imagination and we're bored and
Well, I mean, they found that there's a lot of wiring that we have that just kind of goes back to that. But yeah, so like that's what I'm saying is that when you think of these things, when you think of any sort of sighting, not just cryptids, but just anything in general,
mm-hmm.
you always in your mind picture that because it's just like your unconscious bias of just the topic itself. Um,
Unconsciously biased.
yeah, yeah, you're both. Um, but yeah, so it's like there's a lot of people that come forward where they're like, like there's like park rangers and this and that where they're like, yeah, like there's some
What
weird
about that
stuff.
one dude that you were saying? The
Oh, Les Stroud. Les
yes,
Stroud,
yes,
Survivor
less.
Man,
Yes.
the Survivor Man.
The
Um,
survivor.
he's I don't know with him because I find myself forgiving a lot of stuff that he says just because he's cool as hell. Well, and the reason why is because he's not like Bear Grylls, where Bear Grylls faked everything, and just did everything for shock value.
Mm.
Like Les Stroud was actually out there,
Yeah, yeah. I
you
saw some
know.
things he was doing. I was like, all right,
Yeah, yeah.
makes
So
one of us.
he's out there with like
I would have
these
died.
by himself. Like every now and then he might have a cameraman or something like that, but like he is all about the art of it, like
Yep.
making this as true as it is. And what I love about the dude is that he talks to the tribal people that are like if he's in a remote area,
Mm-hmm.
he talks to them, makes sure that everything's cool. He also asks them like, hey, like what do you guys do to survive in these harsh, environments? And they kind of
Okay.
teach him things and this and
That's
that.
smart. That's smart.
So I like him. I got a lot of respect for the guy, but he's been saying a lot of wild stuff.
And then he started doing his documentaries and
Yeah, he's been
uh-huh.
doing this whole like Bigfoot thing, but he will say something outrageous, but then like reel it back by going, well, we like kind of what we said. You look out long enough, blah 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 blah. So like he'll kind of reason a lot of things, but then he'll pepper in bullshit like as he's saying all these things. Cause like he'll be walking through the forest, right, and then he'll see like a structure. I'm putting air quotes.
Air quotes.
So he'll see like a
Structure.
structure, and one of the things that Bigfoot people think is um that big feet will snap
Hmm.
limbs of like trees in like an arch
Mm-hmm.
as a sign to show where their territory is.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
So he'll see like these trees that are like knocked over, but then he starts saying like stuff that he experiences because like the dude's been out in the wilderness
Oh, so
forever.
he can
So
explain why
so
that
he'll be like,
happened.
look, like this tree's really fresh. It shouldn't just snap like this. Like, oh, like you want to explain it with snow? Like this tree's not old enough to have snow snap it. Somebody snapped it. Like so he'll say things like that where he has like a reason for saying it. And it's not like he says, oh, everything's Bigfoot, but it's just like, I don't know, bro. Like it could just be a snap tree. Like
Somebody was bored. They grabbed a rope, started swinging on it, and
yeah,
then they broke it.
yeah. It's like it's that whole thing of like the most likely thing is probably what it is, like somebody broke the
Mm,
tree, like you know
yeah,
what I mean.
yeah.
um but yeah, so he's a cool dude. I got respect for him because he's really about that life, but then
Mm-hmm.
on the other side of it, it's like he just be saying some shit and I'm like, damn bro, like you're
So,
making it hard to ride right now, you're making it hard to ride for you.
oh,
you know
yeah.
but yeah, he has an entire series, and he caught a lot of shit for it because he had a portion of the series where he was with this one guy who's like a known bullshit artist with Bigfoot stuff. I
Mm-hmm.
wish I could remember his name, but if anybody's into Bigfoot stuff, they'll know who I'm talking about. But there's a guy who's like a known like a fraud with Bigfoot stuff. Like he
He's a
faked,
liar.
yeah, like he faked, like he faked sightings. He has like these, like he has like a crazy
Wow. And
video.
that's and for all the people who
Yep,
actually saw, guess what you just did?
you think about that guy.
Discredited everybody.
Yeah, you think about that guy because say
One
he
bad apple.
he has a
Hmm.
video of him like camping, and then he's hearing like growling and that. Oh man, I thought I was gonna get killed by like 5 Bigfoot, and it was a
Oh,
family of them, and they were growling, and like he's
yeah.
recording
Oh,
himself
yeah.
all scared like the Blair Witch, and he's yelling at him like, get out of here, get
Throwing
out of
rocks
here,
and
and he
everything.
shows everybody the video like, look, they do exist. And I'm like, Les Stroud, why did you partner up with this guy?
Oh
So it's like
God.
he's not like a
I'm sure he
crazy.
knew. I'm
Yeah,
sure he knew.
yeah, like he's not like a crazy like I believe everything and this and that. But then like he partners up with these people that kind of don't do him any favors because now all the people are just
They just
flaming him,
made it
going
all
like,
worse.
"Why the fuck are you partnering up with this guy?" Blah 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 blah. Like he's a bullshit artist and this and that. And like there's just that. But he's been trying and like he's found like
How long has it been going for?
I don't even know exactly, but
Years?
this has been
Yeah.
going on for a couple years.
And
So
he's still, because
he's
I was looking at his stuff. I was trying to see. I was like, okay, maybe if he's been doing it for a while, there's got to be something.
yeah,
Nope,
he's gotten
nothing.
like some casts and like some fur that just came up like
No.
inconclusive. But again, it's one of those things where it's like until you pull up with one,
Mm-hmm.
dead or alive, ain't nobody gonna believe you.
Exactly.
But I mean, again, like like Mothman and stuff like that. Like,
You know what I could see? I could see me being out there, all a disbeliever and everything,
I wouldn't want to be out
and
there because of
then
bears.
well, I'm not thinking about that, right?
You should.
No, but like, let me just tell you something. I'm not thinking about the bears, okay? I'm just thinking about how skeptic I am.
That
Now I'm gonna
bear
be
will
out there.
jack you up.
It'll jack you up. I'll run. I'll do everything they say not to do.
Bears are
So
fast.
not faster than me. I'm like, shut up. I'm like the Flash. I'm super fast.
You know what? I'm gonna go on. I'm googling how
Go
fast.
ahead, Google how fast a bear can run, and I will make sure that I will run faster.
How fast can bears run?
You're for real. You're
This is
for
why we
real.
need. This is why we need
What
another
I'm
person
what
here to like do all this. All right, how fast can
what I'm
bears?
what I'm trying to get at, bro.
Mhm.
Listen, is that I would set up a trap and everything. Like I'd have it. Why are you eyeing me like that? How fast does a bear run? Ooh, 5 miles per hour.
A brown bear can run 35 fucking miles per
And
hour.
I could do 36.
No, you can't. You get winded so fast. You could barely use the treadmill at the gym that you
I
couldn't even figure out.
don't
You
like
almost
those
fell on it.
treadmills. Treadmill.
Go on, but you were saying you out there,
I don't
skeptic,
like.
wilderness.
Yeah,
You're not
okay,
thinking about
okay.
bears, which you should be because they're the fucking apex predator
I
in the
don't need to
wilderness.
worry
Anyways,
about it. I don't need to worry about it because I'll outrun the damn bear.
okay.
Now that I know how fast or slow they run. Anyways, I could see myself being out there like with the crew and everything because I wouldn't go alone because what if there's a bear? Throw them in front of it. But we catch a Bigfoot, right?
Uh-huh.
And then it's gonna just talk to me and be like, hey.
Why'd you catch me,
Yeah.
Krystal?
And then me being all
Yeah,
like how
my
I
kids
am.
are at home waiting
Yeah,
for
I'd
me.
be like, you know what, you're right. Why did I do this? And then I have no proof.
You're like, no, guys, I really caught one.
Yeah,
They're like, yeah, shut up, weirdo.
Yeah. Now that I believe, that I could buy a nice, kind-hearted person, who's willing to throw their crew in front of a bear, letting a Bigfoot go,
He's just looking
just
at you.
yeah, with
Big ol'
his
eyes.
big old eyes, like
I have a family at home.
yeah, this is
I'm
all
not.
I have.
They're gonna think that I ran out on them like your father.
Yeah. Oh, keep bringing up the daddy. Okay.
Damn it, Bigfoot.
I'm okay. I'm fine though.
Damn it, Bigfoot. Go back to your family.
Just go back.
Don't forget the milk.
Tell them about me. Don't forget the milk. It's so stupid.
Why did you catch me?
So you see what I mean? Good, nice person like me would let Bigfoot go and have zero proof.
But you
believe that though,
you would
no?
be getting so pissed too. Like, why don't you guys believe me?
But you'd believe me though, right?
Yeah.
That's all I needed to hear.
Yeah, I can see that being a thing because it's like you tend to be.
Then why even talk about it at that point? You know what I mean?
You talk about it.
I mean, but not like to the public like that.
No, you would be making Facebook posts, Instagram
No,
posts.
people would be
Hey
coming
guys,
at me
it's a
like,
year anniversary since I saw the fucking Bigfoot. I totally saw.
Totally. Shut up. No, I wouldn't.
Yeah, you would.
I would not. I'm gonna get one of these. You're making me real hangry right now.
So
Not believing me.
So I mean, there's like other cryptids in there that like I don't really like kind of mess with.
The ones that I probably never even heard of.
Okay, all right. So one that freaks me out because I don't mean this to sound offensive, but
But you're gonna offend
no,
somebody. Just go.
Native,
Rip the Band-Aid off.
So a lot of Native American like stories freak me out because a lot of them are like real spooky. So like the Skinwalkers,
Oh,
that
okay.
scares the shit out of me because like I don't know,
I know what I'm
man.
gonna be for Halloween.
Like these people were
Halloween's gonna come early, bro.
These people were
Just
real
watch.
spiritual about this shit, and I don't know, man. So it's like you have like these or like
when was the last sighting?
I don't know.
Skinwalker.
I'm sure there's been one recently, but um like the other thing is like the Wendigo, how that was like a Native American story.
Oh, what?
A Native American story, the Wendigo.
What's that?
Wendigo. So the Wendigo is like it's like a creature that they believe that you would turn into if you like ate human flesh or something like that. Like you would just like be, it was like a curse, like you would turn into this creature. Like you didn't want to be a Wendigo, you would just turn into one. So there's stuff like that where it's just, I can't get behind it, but like in the back of my head it just kind of freaks me out just because the stories are really good. They're really,
I bet
really
you they
good
told them all at a
stories.
campfire, huh?
Well, I mean, yeah, they're Native Americans. They didn't really have,
So they don't have electricity?
like not when they were telling not when they were telling these stories. They were like out, like out in the plains,
Yeah.
wherever they kicked it
You
at.
hear about a Wendigo? Let me tell you the story. When I fought the Wendigo.
Like so there's
throw more wood in the fire.
Throw some more wood in the fire. Let me put you on game. So there's things like that where it's just like I can't get behind it
dumb.
because it's just, but at the same time, it freaks me out, and then like I can't get behind like the lizard people. That's technically a cryptid. Oh, lizard people run.
You think that's the thing? Would you believe in that?
No.
Okay, good.
No.
Thank you.
No.
I was gonna give you shit. If you
Imagine
yes.
if it's real though, and they're over here like, yeah,
absolutely
go ahead.
not.
Tell everybody you don't believe
people.
in that. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah.
Tell them you don't believe in that. But yeah, like there's those where I'm just like, come on, dude. Like you think that there's a lizard people that control the whole government and
I was about to say that. Yeah,
they
say all the higher ups, and then they even show the videos like, oh, proof that so and so is a lizard person. Look at her eyes, the way she's blinking, and I'm like, yeah, okay, because we totally can't change that ourselves with the technology we have. And I mean, look at filters these days. You think we can't make someone look like a lizard person?
but then there's other ones where I just find myself continuously circling back to this, where there's a lot of cryptids that come from like there's one that they believe in Mexico, where it's a Quetzalcoatl, something like that.
How do you say it?
Quetzalcoatl.
Wetzel pretzel? How?
That's offensive.
That's how you're saying it. You're being offensive.
It's your culture. But it's a big ass serpent.
Okay.
It's a big ass serpent. I mean, serpents are real. Who's to say somebody didn't see a big ass snake and they're like, yeah, like it's like the fisherman story. Oh, how big of a fish did you catch? Motherfucker, I caught a. You couldn't even measure how big the fish I caught was.
My arms can't extend as long as that fish was. I have little T-Rex arms. I am so sorry.
And it's all a game of telephone too. Somebody says something, he tells somebody up, tells somebody, and then like people start jazzing up the story. Did you hear
what Juan caught the other day?
Yeah, it was a big ass snake. It was as big as the house.
He started off by saying it was as big as his foot, and then it went on.
It could eat the whole village.
You better watch out.
But how fast something like that can take off. And we're talking about people who don't really have kind of like, they have a I think a lot of it also has to do with like their belief system, where it kind of made them
and boredom. How bored are you today?
I think it's also their belief system, where they thought a lot of things were gods and this and that, so they would make a lot of these things larger than life.
Larger than their life.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So that's kind of my thing, is that like it's such a fun.
What cryptids, do they prey on them or anything? Like do they worship or anything?
What do you mean?
Like, do any cultures, tribes, or anything do they worship any type of cryptid? Like,
I,
like
I don't know if like straight up
do
worship, but
shrines and
like
stuff? I don't know.
Quetzalcoatl. That's I don't know how to say it. It's like a Mexican Mayan
Quetzal,
like
Quetzal.
something like that. But like there's like a whole uh like shrines of him because he was like a god to them, you know.
Mm.
So I mean that one, but then there's also
I could see that,
um like skinwalkers are a part of their lore, and it's like a real big part of
Is there a way to
their
keep them away?
history and this and that. I'm not sure if skinwalkers are good or bad. There's like tales of them being good and bad, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just not sure if like one of them just gets lost in the sauce, you
Mm-hmm.
know, and he just becomes like evil or something. I don't know,
What
but
is the lifespan of a skinwalker? What do you think?
real long,
Like 11 years maybe?
probably longer than that because it's
Nah.
kind of
If
like a
I see a
spiritual.
skinwalker, I'd probably hit it or something. Just because they look freaky
You
weird.
shouldn't.
Why not? What's it gonna do? Hit me back? I'll hit it again.
It might do some shit to you,
Like
but
what? Take my skin? Don't want it.
but
You don't want this.
but like you gotta admit, dude, it's such a fun topic because like cryptids are it's just such a vague term. Like aliens are technically a cryptid, you know.
No, it's not.
Bigfoot, like
It's
this,
not.
that, like they're all technically like in that cryptid thing where it's just kind of like a lore, like a
Mystical.
mystical,
Yeah.
all that stuff. But I think a lot of them, the fun part of it is that they do have kind of a base in reality, where I think the other thing that kind of attracts me to that is I find it fascinating how the human mind is, where they can just take something and just run with it and
Yeah.
just turn
They
it
have
into something
nothing.
crazy.
And then they have something.
Like, like somebody who saw like a Komodo dragon, it's a
Mm-hmm.
big ass lizard. Then they go, bro, let me tell you about the dinosaur I just saw.
Yeah. And if there was a photo that they took of it and there was no size comparison, I'd be like, that's a crazy dinosaur. I believe you.
But it's all just like, telephone game.
I'm
Because it's
saying.
like these people live in a damn forest where they see shit like this all the time. Who's to say he didn't see a fucking dinosaur?
That's what I'm saying.
If he sounds scared, it's in your best interest for your survival to believe what this guy says, even if it sounds crazy. So what if he's right? You don't know.
You know, that
They don't
that
got Google.
yeah. Cause
you
yeah.
know. Then you got some white guy coming through there, some South African guy, coming through, going, "Hey, you guys seen a dinosaur? Because I'm looking for it."
Like what would you do? What would you do for real? If you know how we go hiking and stuff.
Yeah,
What would you do if we were on a hike and you know how people forewarn you, like, hey, there's a
there's a
rattlesnake up
rattlesnake. Yeah,
ahead, right? Which they just did that to us this past hike. I don't
yeah,
know if Michelle told you.
yeah.
Yeah, he said it was a big one too. There was hikers right there all waiting too. They were waiting for us to go in front of them, even though they're the ones with the hiking sticks. Like, okay, cool. Yeah, put us in the front. Anywho, what would you do if you're on a hike and just like people forewarn you about a rattlesnake if they told you, hey, there was Bigfoot over there in the bushes. Just be careful. Would you do like with a rattlesnake and stay away, or would you go and be like, I want to see this? Or would you think the person is just shitting and just like messing with you?
I mean, I think they're BSing. I mean,
You wouldn't even be curious to go check it out?
well, I mean, I'd go. I'd just keep on my
I'd hella
way.
ask questions like where exactly I need to know the exact point of where
Be
you
like, "Are you
saw
sure you
it
just
and
didn't see a homeless dude?"
I need you to put this on my GPS right now.
Yeah, put it on all
I'm
trails.
heading over there right now.
You sure you just didn't see a homeless guy?
Nah.
Are you sure? You sure you just didn't
Nah.
see some disheveled homeless guy? But I
Big,
mean,
huge, disheveled homeless.
but you see, but that's the difference is that these people didn't have words for this stuff. They would just say what they saw, and a lot of times, fear can trick you. You can see a lot of things when you're scared. So, you know, imagine if you saw something and you didn't have words for it, and you're trying to warn your people. You're gonna go back there and just say whatever crazy shit you saw.
I'd definitely do a comparison. It looked like this, that, and it was as big as this, that. Like I'm sure I could describe it. I would draw a picture, hell, if I had to. I'm an artist.
But
You believe
again,
me.
it's so easy for that to just get turned around. It's so easy for you to come back and be like let's say you had no basis, like you've never seen a cat. All right, I'm just painting a
None
picture
of
for
the
you.
species of cat.
So let's say you're in an area
Feline.
and you've just like never seen a cat. Like you're just in a remote area. You've never seen a cat. You cannot.
I was just born into
you,
this world
you
and
cannot
I haven't
fathom,
gone anywhere. Got it.
like all you see are like deers and birds and this and that. But like
Okay, I see
you've
things.
never
Got
seen a
it.
cat.
Okay.
You've never seen a cat.
What is that?
You're out doing your hunter gatherer shit, and you see a fucking mountain lion.
Okay.
You're gonna run back and be like, dude, I saw this big ass creature with pointy ears, and it was long, and it had a tail, and it was creeping through the grass, and its eyes were glowing because their eyes glow.
Yeah, and then
at
everybody's
night.
gonna be imagining something weird until I draw a picture.
And how's your picture gonna look?
And then I'm gonna tell them it was like yay tall. I'm gonna put my hand right next to my hip and be like, it was like right about here up to my kneecap.
Yeah, and then everybody's gonna start moving that line up and up and up.
I know,
you have an enormous saber-toothed cat.
The telephone game.
You see?
And then they're gonna come back, Krystal, I heard no, let me tell you what it was for reals.
But that's what makes it fascinating, is that you have an aspect of human nature in this. That
I'm humans.
You have this aspect of human nature in here that twists the stories up.
We're such storytellers.
Yes.
Who does that?
Who's to say the animals don't tell stories? But
they don't. They don't.
Like in Tarzan, where they all had the stories of the hunters, the gorillas.
We're going Disney on
talking
this.
about the hunters. They're like, oh man. But but it's just like that's it's just so fascinating because like you do have these creatures that you don't know what they are. The world is a crazy place, and there's so many places that, like the Amazon. You know how much of that like we haven't explored, and they just started seeing stuff there because unfortunately a lot of it like had burnt down and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. So it's like there's these places in the world that we just do not know what's there because it's just so dense, it's so covered, it's so remote, it's so this, it's so that, and a lot of times too, it's just there's no reason to go there. Why are we gonna
sea creatures? Are there any cryptids on sea creatures?
As I was telling you, like the Kraken and stuff like that, Loch Ness monster.
That's
I mean, technically,
that's it.
I mean, technically, like there's like, like a lot of people think the megalodon is still around.
Megalodon. I like that word. I love that word.
Stuff like that. But
what was the word I was saying? The book you had.
People think that there's alien bases underwater and just all kinds of wild shit.
I mean, okay, that's a different one.
I mean, how much of the ocean's unexplored?
That's what I was gonna say. That's a different one to explore and talk about another day because I got some thoughts on all of that. We're talking about possible cryptid sea creatures, because, and the reason why I brought that up is because, what did they say about only
whatever
8% or whatever has been explored?
Percentage of the ocean's been discovered.
Minuscule percent.
But again, it's like people see this crazy stuff and they don't know what that like. Imagine being the first person to see an anglerfish. You know what an anglerfish is? Those ones that have the thing and it glows and they got those big crazy mouths and stuff.
Like a Nemo.
Imagine seeing that and being like, bro, let me tell you about this fucking fish I saw.
Hey, is it vicious though?
Yeah, they're mean as hell.
Nah.
It doesn't look nice.
I mean,
and it's in an area where it needs to eat whatever it can. So I imagine anything gets near it, it's going to eat it. And I don't even think that's mean because there's no emotions at that point. It's just you're running on instinct. You're running on survival. You're running on your next meal.
Yeah.
What
really bothers me though is the fact that they'll say, "Oh, we found a new life form, new sea creature," and it's just like an atom. I'm like, what is
an atom?
Yeah. Like you can't even. No. Like it's so pointless.
Like an amoeba? Is that what you meant?
No, I'm just saying it's so pointless that you can't. Yeah, like you can't even see it. Like what is that even?
Like those people.
Like what are you showing me?
Like those people.
I don't see anything.
Those people who don't believe in aliens, but they don't believe in aliens in the cool way that I believe in aliens. They believe they're like, yeah, aliens exist. Duh, dummy. We brought bacteria back from Mars, and it's like, shut up, bitch. Like, you know what I mean with aliens.
That's what I'm saying.
Like, what a boring fucking you.
Don't tell me you found life I found life, and you're
And
showing
it's
me
bacteria.
right.
It's like those. I forget.
You're showing me a petri dish.
They have a name for them.
I found life. What
There's
the
one where
hell is that?
it's called a something bear. It's called a something bear, and it's like a little
That's
like
a good name.
it's like a bacteria, and like under a microscope it looks all derpy, but like it's literally just like a bacteria. You know, technically yes,
Mm-hmm.
it is life. You know,
Mm-hmm.
but it's like life in the lamest way. You know,
So lame.
like if do me a
Can
favor.
that life create more life? If not, I don't want to hear about that life.
If you believe in aliens in the way uncool way that we just talked about, you know, you stick around and broaden your damn horizons.
Yeah.
You need to fucking
Not be afraid to share the real stuff.
yeah. What are you
Because that's what
scared
I'm
of?
waiting
What are
for.
you scared
You
of, bro?
know,
What are you scared
you
of?
know you got the real deal.
You
And
know?
you're like, oh, I got this bacteria. Shut up.
Yeah, no, that's lame.
Bring me ET, damn
That's
it.
whack.
I don't want no petri dish.
No, you know, I want these fools to be coming at me.
Yeah,
You
I want to
know?
hear
I
it
want
over
Mars
here.
attacks.
We come in peace. That's what I want.
I want. But,
If it's not that, I don't want it, damn it.
damn.
Sound life, my ass.
Yeah, you know, it's just like so boring, like looking at that, and I think that plays into the whole larger than life and like these crazy batshit stories
But you
with
know
these
why they say
cryptids.
that though? Because of that whole Big Bang Theory, which has already been debunked, by the way.
God.
But that's why they're like, we found the possibility of, life being able to survive on the surface of whatever planet, right? Because they're always finding more planets apparently where life can live and
Well,
survive.
it's like they say that they like octopus or squid have like alien DNA.
We do too.
Some people do.
But they're saying it in that way because if you're looking at it at on that from that perspective where they're talking about, the Big Bang Theory, everything evolved and it started with the smallest, most pointless, most boring,
Yeah, those little shitfish.
like the dumbest thing where, I mean, that never made sense to me. I'm like, what?
I always picture
How
so like
in the
I forgot what grade I
who's
was
buying
in.
this? The smartest people in the world? The fuck is wrong with you guys?
So, I remember I can't remember what grade I was in, but I remember that they had like this picture and it was like some sort of like picture of like evolution and like
How did it take so long for them to be like, hey, you guys, we had it wrong for all
so,
this time? Like,
no, like,
what?
so like it had like this like theory like evolution picture whatever. I don't even know what it was talking about because the only thing I fucking remember from this page was the little shitfish that started everything.
That was your ancestor. Don't be talking
like
shit.
this dumb ass shitfish that was just in the mud, just flopping about.
That was your great, 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 great,
and,
great.
and
Okay.
like I was like, that's what stuck out to me was this mudfish just chilling there, looking all stupid.
Yeah.
And
then you wonder why I was like believing religion too, because I was like, well, I guess Adam and Eve made more sense than that.
I don't know, man.
To me, it did. At that point, if I was comparing apples to apples, I was like, these apples just seem to be making a little more sense.
No, I mean, for me, I think it's just that, when you start asking why, at a certain point, you just get into theories and you don't get into facts. Like once you start asking like why, like, well, where did we come from? Okay, well, why'd that happen? Oh, well, this. Well, why'd that happen? Why'd that happen? You can only explain so much to the point where you just get to a wall where now it's just all a theory.
No, I did actually get to a wall when it came to asking the question why, and that was with religion, and the wall was it comes down to belief. You just have to believe it.
Faith.
Yes.
That's
It's your own beliefs. And if you believe in it, then yeah, it's your faith. But that's basically what it just comes down to. It's like we don't have the answers that you're asking, Krystal, and we never will. No one ever will. So it just comes down to your faith and how much do you believe. And that was pretty much the wall that I hit, and I didn't like that response, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, so
Because I wanted to believe, you know what I mean? It was comforting.
you hit that wall.
Hmm.
You just hit that wall, and like they always hit that wall with like, oh, like evolution and this and that. Like eventually you hit a wall, and it's just going to be theories until you have proof.
Exactly.
And I think proof is the biggest issue, is that there's no.
The lack of.
Yeah, and then once you do get into the nitty gritty and then you start getting proof, then it turns out to be something it's not.
Hmm.
Like with the Kraken, like we were talking about, the
Yeah.
Kraken,
Release the Kraken.
once they start going into it, they're like, oh, this is a big ass squid or octopus or whatever. Like this is a real ass thing. Like this thing is big as hell.
So it could bring down like a boat.
I
I'm
mean,
not saying a full on ship, but it
well, I
could
mean,
bring down a
no.
boat if
Yeah,
it
I
was
mean,
wrapping around a whale.
yeah. I mean, and we're talking about boats at that time. I'm
Mm.
sure it could have fucked up a boat.
So that's why no, but like wrap the tentacles around it and everything, it'll bring it down.
Yeah, I mean, like
Sink it for sure.
look how big a whale is, and these things
That's
are
what I'm
jacking
saying.
whales up. Yeah,
That's what I'm saying. So it'll bring down a boat for sure.
yeah.
Better put your vest on, go
But I mean,
swim.
another thing is like like what's to say people aren't misidentifying a Sasquatch with like some weird ass bear. It could be just some like the Chupacabra, how it's a they think
Crossbreed,
that it was
a crossbreed of a bear and a gorilla monkey thing.
things don't mate like that.
How do you know?
It just wouldn't work. They're two different species.
You wouldn't know that.
That'd be like you trying to have a baby from like a bat. Like
I don't want to do that.
Like,
Ew.
it's just
We're not talking about what I would be mating with, okay? I'm not mating, period. We're done. That topic is over. Listen, no.
So by your
A gorilla,
I could just grab this cage and just throw two animals into it and it's gonna make
they'll
a baby.
do something. They'll figure it
They'll
out.
kill each other.
They won't kill each other. Not all animals are going to be that aggressive, survival.
Oh my God.
Look,
It's so dumb.
it's a gorilla and a bear. Boom. Mystery solved.
No.
Yes.
A bear can't get a gorilla pregnant or vice versa. It's just not
How do you
gonna
know
work.
that? How do you know that science didn't do it, that they didn't do it in a lab?
Have you seen all those videos on Instagram of dogs humping chickens like in TJ and stuff like that?
Why would I watch that, bro?
It's funny.
Nope.
First of all, you'd be surprised at how
No, it doesn't.
common it is.
It doesn't come up in my YouTube feed. Sorry.
Have I seen a dog chicken? No.
Yet.
That's not how it works.
Yet. Listen, if I
Oh,
crossbred you in a lab with something else,
No, now we're
something
talking.
with
No.
Okay,
You
okay.
didn't say that. You didn't say that. That's now you're talking about splicing DNA, which is a thing.
So let me make more sense then. I'm gonna splice DNA.
Yeah, but
in a lab.
We've been seeing, allegedly people have been seeing Sasquatch, or Bigfoot or Yeti.
Look at how many
whatever you want to
things
call it.
scientists are creating in the lab. You really think that they're not gonna go ahead and?
We've been seeing these things longer than any sort of, since we had any idea of splicing DNA. We've been seeing these things longer than that.
Don't talk
Allegedly.
to me like that. Don't talk to me like that. Yeah, you're being rude.
You're so dumb. If you believe this, I'm gonna go get like.
She don't like your attitude towards me.
Because she knew I was about to bring her up.
I
was gonna say I was gonna go get like some random ass animal and throw them in the cage with Coco and be like, all right, make a baby.
She won't even have her own kind around her. What you mean?
Make a baby.
She's known me her whole life and she still will growl at me.
Here, get in this cage and make a baby because that's how Krystal thinks that it works.
Give it enough time. Splice your DNA naturally.
Just like nature.
Amateur hour coming back, coming live.
It's always your dog.
Hey, well, it's not your dog. She's side-eyeing you so hard right now.
We're not going to splice your DNA. Relax. And that's a good a time as ever to go get another conspiracy juice. We'll be back in a moment.
We are amateurs and we're back.
Yeah, no thanks to Coco.
Listen, she's part of the crew. She just doesn't
She's
know
not.
how
I
to.
fired her last episode.
I
I fired her
rehired her.
without
She
consulting
looked
me.
at me with the puppy dog eyes.
Like Bigfoot.
Yes.
I got a
See, I'm a sucker.
I got a family.
Yeah. She was like, but mama.
Don't fire me. How will I buy kibble?
First of all, I buy it, but okay.
Yeah, damn dependent.
Mm-hmm.
As we were saying, Krystal, you cannot throw things in a cage and expect them to make a baby.
Oh dear God, here we go.
Those are Pokemon rules. So in Pokemon, you leave 2 Pokemon at the daycare. Well, you leave any Pokemon in a Ditto, and they just make an egg.
Uh-huh.
That's not how this works. You can't just throw Coco in a cage with
I didn't say Coco.
an eagle.
Leave Coco out
and
of
it makes a baby. That's not how it works. You can't put her in the cage with a kangaroo.
Eventually,
yes,
they'll get along. Eventually,
nature.
They'll find feelings
Life
for one
finds
another.
a way. Okay, Jurassic Park.
Okay, you know
that's not how it works.
They're splicing it naturally,
as the Lord intended.
As the Lord intended.
You got a little red hat on.
Just saying. Why can't it be possible? We'll just agree to agree, okay?
We'll just
leave
agree that you're correct.
Always.
That's unhealthy.
I'm just saying, okay?
That's
but
very
but
unhealthy.
for reals though, if they put it all in a lab and they started messing with the DNA,
well, I mean, they're doing shit like that already.
And then they put the creature out there, and they're like, "Dude, let's just totally mess with people."
I mean, they're
If you were a scientist, wouldn't you want to mess with people and be like, "Dude, let's just like make some crazy creature, put it out there, and just laugh"?
I don't know if that would be my intention.
I would.
More than just playing God at that point. It's like what's that that one
you wouldn't want to mess with people a little bit?
What's that old ass movie?
And see what they call it and see what they do?
What's that old ass movie where that's
You're
like the
totally
whole
ignoring
thing?
Me, ass.
Where it's like this doctor and he's like splicing DNA.
I know what movie you're talking about. I'm not gonna talk to you about what you want to talk about until you talk to me about what I'm talking about.
What is that movie?
You're done. So rude. I know you can hear me.
What is that movie called?
You're such. Throw this at you.
The dog's gonna
Listen to me.
What's the name of that movie?
It's called Splice.
No. It was like Dr. Something's Island, where the guy would he had like hybrid animals and shit like that. And
Dr. Doolittle.
No.
I don't know.
I'm gonna, it's gonna be one of those things where I'm just gonna be like in the middle of the night. I'm just gonna get up.
God! You're gonna be calling me again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You're not gonna be able to sleep until you get this off your chest.
Oh yeah,
I'll be sure to silence my phone. Don't worry, I'll block you. As a matter of fact.
Yeah, randomly, you're just gonna be getting a message, and I'll be like, "This was the name of the movie. Remember? You remember that thing we were talking about?"
No, that you were talking about. You left me talking all by myself, and I don't even know what I was talking about now. I lost my train of thought.
But yeah, they're all
now I remember.
They're already splicing like DNA, and I mean they've already been doing shit like that. It's like, but not as extreme, because I think like one of the first ones that I saw was like when they made the liger, where they bred like the lion and the tiger, and the first one came out all like, and it was like
that's the one I wanted.
Yeah, it was all like it was all pancake face, and it died. And then they're like, all right, well,
back to the drawing board.
Make an omelet. You got to kill a few ligers. But then they perfected the serum, and they got it going a little bit. But those two, they're not that far off genetically, so that's why they were able to breed. But even a lion and a tiger, genetically speaking, they're similar.
Why are you trying to say like my crossbreed wouldn't happen? Because you're a terrible scientist then.
What I'm telling you is that
why don't close your eyes at me like that, like I'm giving you a migraine.
Even with a lion and a tiger that are very similar, they still had some hiccups where it was like,
okay, well then hiccup away and then create the damn Bigfoot.
Oh man. Sometimes with you.
You know what? No, I don't know sometimes with me, because I'm on this side You're on that side.
You and Coco are going to be looking for a new podcast. Why don't you have one with her? She's just barking into the fucking microphone.
This is better.
But yeah, I mean, with things like that, like, yeah, like they're already doing it. And I could see that eventually kind of being a thing because
it is a thing already.
We're just going to get to the point where we're like, yo, it'd be sick. You see that bat? Let's put a monkey body on it.
Oh, but what I said was a little too far out.
No, because what you're saying is stupid. What you're
saying, bat with a monkey body?
No. It's not the animals. It's the practice. You're over here just talking about throwing things into a cage and just seeing what happens. What's going to happen is one of them's going to kill the other one. What I'm talking about is actually like, fucking with their DNA. But even then, like, what are you going to put? Like, let's say you create an embryo of a monkey and a bat. What in the hell are you going to put it in that's going to be able to sustain its life? So it's like, the human pig embryo thing? Did you you know about that? Or are you just saying yeah?
The human pig embryo?
So there was this whole thing where they were able to like kind of like fuck with the DNA of like a human and a pig and all that stuff, and they were able to like put like a human embryo inside of a pig. Even though a pig is a pig.
You're not talking about the cloning stuff?
That too, but pigs are very like a lot of their like internal organs and like a lot of the way that they work.
Well, didn't they give a guy a pig heart?
Yeah. There's a lot of things like that happen, but that's kind of what I was talking about. Is that pigs are very similar to us in the way that they're kind of like built and shit.
But yeah, we eat them.
Yeah, a lot of the things we eat is all based on taboo, not the game.
Taste buds.
No, dumbass. What I'm talking about is that
tastes good. I'm gonna eat it.
It's the whole like social dynamic of it, where it's like, oh, you can't eat that because it's weird, but in another part of the world, it's like, nah, bitch, that's in our food pyramid.
Oh, you mean like the ones that are over there killing dogs and stuff, and you're like, that's savage, but that's their food.
Yeah, and
it just isn't to us, but it is to them, just like to us a cow.
Yeah,
and pigs are food to them. They're like,
there's dogs that they bred to be food. So we can't really kind of let's look at them this way.
There's different cultures, different.
Yeah. How much weird shit do we eat? In our culture.
I mean, I'm eating these gummy peach rings, I'm talking about like
tacos
sure
de lengua,
terrible.
Tacos de cabeza, like all this stuff where it's like, yeah, fuck it, put it on a tortilla.
Throw some cheese on that.
Put it on a tortilla. Throw some salsa. Throw some guac. Fuck it. It's good. Boom. Done.
Okay. I'm hungry.
But yeah, but it's like I think we're gonna get to the point where, and I mean, how many things in science did they already just go, fuck it? Fuck it. Let's see what happens.
Fuck it. COVID. Who cares?
So it's like, they
too soon.
I could imagine myself just being a scientist, looking and be like, that monkey would look dope with some bat wings. Okay. And then I'd look at my other scientist homie and be like, try and get in on this? Trying to get in on this monkey bat?
But you got to make them all docile, though, because I could see them ravaging.
My
Dude,
monkey
bat? Us. No, they would kill us. They would kill you first.
It's Curse of Frankenstein. In my mind, my monkey bat, I give it the testosterone of a bull shark.
Holy. And that's why you're not a damn scientist. We're glad you.
Yeah, it's not the grades. It wasn't my education. It was my
The system didn't fail you, okay?
Oh, no child left behind. It wasn't.
It's because we didn't have the same.
It's my radical ideas. It's not that I fucking failed. Nope.
Not at all.
Nope. It's that I would splice a monkey, a bat, and a bull shark and just make an abomination.
You're done.
There was just a questionnaire like, hey, if you had these things, what would you do? I'm like, oh, I'll tell you.
I'll tell you. Like, no, they threw your little paper out the door. You're done.
Wouldn't that be dope though? Like it'd be terrifying at first, but like
you just can't put something above us, though.
Who's to say there's not? Oh, trip out. So
I'm already tripping out.
there's this book that I've been wanting to read. I can't remember what it's called. I have
How
it
long you been wanting to read it?
a long time.
You're waiting for the Audible.
Not one of them good readers.
And what's it called?
I can't even remember, dude.
And that's why you haven't read it, because you don't even remember the damn title.
There's so many random things that I just add on. I'm like, yeah, I'll get around to it. I never do.
You don't even put it in the cart.
I never do.
You don't even put it there.
But you know what I do absorb is that like those like random little like crazy tidbits where I'm like, oh man, like wouldn't that be dope if there were? Because with humans, there was so many different different types of like humans that during like evolution, and we were the ones that just kind of won. Like there was like Neanderthals and this and that. So we kind of just ended up being on top.
Oh yeah, that there was like 9 different. Yeah.
I don't know the number, but there was like
it was 9.
There was like a different type of human that was like really smart, but he was so smart that he kind of knew that he wasn't going to survive because he was kind of like, oh man, like
this isn't for me. So he went to a different planet.
These other dudes are way like these guys are gonna kill me, And then there was like those bigger. There was like I can't remember which human which like type of human it was or whatever you want to call it, but there was one where they would hit puberty at a really young age, so they would just get fucking jacked, just these enormous, massive people, but they were dumb because they would hit puberty so young that they just wouldn't develop that well. And it just so happens we were kind of in that middle where we were like, all right, like we're smart enough to do this, we're big enough to do this, and we just kind of fucked everybody over. But we kind of like messed around enough to where a lot of those genes are still like around. But
Bigfoot.
There you go. And that was one of those theories where it's like, hey, like,
all right, I'm going back on my theory. It wasn't spliced DNA naturally in a cage. It's one of the other
missing link
species. Yeah,
the missing link.
There you go.
And
mystery solved, you guys.
Who's to say it's not? But on the other side of it is that there's so many cultures that have their own version of the Bigfoot.
Like
there's the skunk ape, there's the Yeti, there's the Sasquatch, there's the Yowie, there is there's like a bunch of different variations, but at its core, it's all a bipedal, large, hairy, appears to be hominid. So are they connected? Are they this? Are they that? Why are we all seeing variations of the same thing? Like that's what's another trip is that you have these reports and these sightings that go back before civilization kind of like as we know it, and they're all seeing similar things. At what point do you go, all right, they saw something, but what was it? You have different cultures that they weren't able to freely travel to each other, and they all have this same sort of folklore creature that's all at its core the same thing. So at what point do we look at this and go, all right, like one time you're like, all right, cool, yeah, you could be full of shit. 2 times, maybe you're both full of shit. But then when you see it going across,
you're seeing a little pattern.
Exactly. At what point do we kind of go, all right, there's something there, but what is it? And I think it's just that whole extreme view of what it is that kind of just, makes people not want to look into it because they're like, oh man, look at this jackass saying that, he got kidnapped by a female Sasquatch.
Yeah.
Like, shut up. Okay, oh yeah, okay, bro. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, and what else?
Yeah, what else? Yeah, tell me. What are the winning lottery numbers?
What happened to you last week?
Yeah. So it's like, those things, and then the people that do want to look into it, a lot of them, of the whole percentage of them, how many are just like normal people? Of all the people that are, Bigfoot, what would you even call them? Enthusiast, Bigfoot. whatever. Like, of the whole group of them, what percentage of them are people that are doing it realistically for the science and not to be a part of a community, not to be part of
The ones
something, not to be
that aren't out there
heard, like,
talking about it.
yeah, and it's like that's what we got to look into, is like those random ones where it's just like, yeah, bro, like I saw something, I don't really know what it is. I was trying to make sense of it. It's like those people where they have like some sort of sighting of like a ghost or this or that. They're like, yo, like I saw something.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is. My mind could have been playing tricks on me, but I just know that
those are the ones I want to talk
something,
to.
But
they seem to be a bit more credible.
Yeah. So that's kind of where where I go with it, where it's just like I would love for that to get more of a spotlight, but it's just it never is. Like, why would you pay attention to this guy who says, yeah, bro, like, I don't know, man, I saw something, I don't really know what it was kind of weird, but there's definitely probably something out there. Or you're gonna hear
there's no enthusiasm there. He clearly doesn't want to really go anywhere with it. He's not invested. He's scared
of what it's gonna look like, because he's not fully sold himself.
Yeah, he's just like, it is what it is.
Then you got the other guy,
with my day.
Yeah, she got me and she pulled off my pants. And
I bought all these cameras so I could set them up, and I'll catch you red-handed next time. It's like, all right, I'm with it. You're dedicated. Like, that's cool. Versus the other one, like, I guess I saw something.
I feel like your Bigfoot sighting would be like, do you remember the Goofy movie?
Which, oh, yeah.
Do you remember when they saw Goofy, but he destroyed, where Goofy saw the Bigfoot, and the Bigfoot's like fucking up his whole camp. He's just destroying everything.
Yeah.
He's sitting on top of their car. He's sleeping. They're eating alphabet soup with a cigarette lighter, heating it up. But Bigfoot destroys his camera, and it's just him and Max, and he's like, God, like, nobody's
no.
Like, and then like Bigfoot's like tearing up the camera, like it was those like old like VHS. He was like tearing up all the film and everything like that. And he's like, damn it, like I feel like that's how it would work for you. Is that like you would be in this?
For sure. For sure.
Your phone would die. It would be you and some like somebody else, and he'd just be fucking everything up. And they'd be like, yeah, whatever, Krystal. You just don't know how to set up a camp, you idiot.
Yeah. I mean, that's not far from the truth either, but
but I feel like that's kind of how it would go down. And who's to say that, again, like, how funny would it be if some of these bonkers stories are actually real, and we're just like, we're the assholes that are going, yeah, shut up.
Them.
Yeah, shut up.
You sound real dumb.
Oh, yeah. Oh, okay, yeah. A Sasquatch kidnapped you. Meanwhile, there's a Sasquatch there. Like, dude, nobody's gonna believe this idiot. I totally ripped off his pants.
Such an easy target.
I totally took his manhood, and nobody's gonna believe him.
Yeah.
Like, you. At the end of the day, it's like you will never know until we have physical proof,
or until it happens to you.
But even then, if it happens to you, it's that whole thing of like,
but you will know. That's all I need to know. I know. That's it.
Yeah, but how?
I just need to know me.
How insane would you go trying to express what happened to you, and everybody tells you you're full of shit?
Then I would secretly make the chronicles of what I saw, whatever, and then upon my death, make sure that's when they publish it.
That's like I feel like that's like there's like a bunch of well, I mean, there's one specific that comes to mind. There's like this guy who was getting messed with by misinformation from the government, and he basically said that he picked up UFO signals, and he said he saw aliens and this and that. Like, he saw their signals. Turns out he was picking up government signals from the base. And they told him, yeah, bro, it's fucking aliens. And so they were giving him all kinds of misinformation. They were fucking with him. They fucked with him so much, he went insane. Literally, he went insane and died.
Of insanity? You could die from insanity?
Well, I don't know if he killed himself or like because it got to a point where he was in an insane asylum. He stopped eating. He stopped doing this. He stopped doing that. And literally, it all went back to, there was an agent that was charged with feeding him misinformation,
That would be you.
And it was because and like the dude felt bad, but he's like, oh well, it's government work. But basically, in a nutshell, this guy, he was a government contractor, and he was picking up signals because he lived so close to a military base, and they were scared that if he could pick up the signals, that means
others,
anybody could pick up the signal, potentially a enemy to the United States of America. So he told him it was aliens, because he started deciphering it. Basically, he programmed something to look for certain keywords in this language or whatever, this code. And he started picking up words like Earth and takeover and this and that. So it made him think of aliens, and then oh my God. He thought that he was under surveillance, but he was, but not for that same reason. So it literally drove him insane.
That's sad. What a sad way to go.
So I think that would kind of, be a similar situation where it's like, if in your heart of hearts something happened, and it's something that could potentially change the way that we think of things. Like,
listen, dude, all I'm saying is I love food too much. I would never not eat and die of starvation. That's just not gonna happen in this.
Think about it, Krystal. Think about knowing
I'm not thinking about that.
Bigfoot exists and nobody believes you. How
I would still be eating.
Infuriating that would be. Like, you're like, no,
I'll be eating even more out of anger.
The Bigfoot exists, and I told him he could go back with his family. They'd be like, shut up. Shut up, Krystal.
They're inviting me over for dinner next week. You know what? And you're not invited now.
You've said a lot of crazy shit in your past, but this really takes the cake.
I'd be friends with Bigfoot.
Yeah, we would be friends. I'm sure you would be. But, at the end of the day, I think mainly the reason why I wanted to, cover this one and I had so much passion for it was because it kind of hits a lot of points for me, because it hits the whole unknown, because it's like, who's to say that what these people are seeing isn't what they're seeing? And we've talked about this before, where it's like perception is reality. And the other thing is that I find the whole human psyche so fascinating with the way that it just turns nothing into something.
We're really good at that.
Yeah. So it's like, you hear something and it turns into something else, or you see something and it's like all of a sudden it's completely different. Like, how many times have you been asleep and you see your chair and all of a sudden you think that there's somebody watching you sleep, and no, it's just your chair with a jacket you left on it.
Yeah. Stupid chair.
It's a lot of things like that where it's just fear kind of takes over rationality, and then you have that mob mentality.
But I was actually reading an article the other day, and it was saying that the reason why we do that is because the mind has to make sense of it. So it'll start feeding you misinformation because it has to make sense of it. So it will just process it for something that it's not.
It's a defense mechanism.
in a sense. But yeah, it has to make sense of it. And even if it's not what it is, then that's what your brain is going to tell you what it is in the end. So if it's something that you feel you need to protect yourself from, then you protect yourself. But it's just going to, give you that false information until you figure out what it really is. Turn on the damn lights. Okay? Yeah. Stop being dumb.
And I love that. I love that just, it's like you're in a room and there's that little shadowy corner. You're like, oh, what's all
and I'll just keep staring at it like, what am I going to think of today?
Yeah. So it's like, I love that because the whole cryptid ideology is just, it wraps everything. It's culture, because you have just stories, coming down depending on the culture. We have different cultures that have their stories, and it just evolves into something else. And then with the whole people moving around and doing this and doing that story turns into something else. People start hearing it, this and that. And it could have started as something so innocent, and it just evolved and just snowballed.
Well, I mean, look at how many years they've been going on for.
Yeah.
So,
dude, we're still talking about the Chupacabra. We're still talking about the Chupacabra,
Yep.
So it's like, that just fascinates me.
And the Chupacabra, they've been reporting sightings even before that, since the
Yeah,
1970s.
that's insane.
70s.
Yeah. So like, how is that? Like, it bothers me so much. People go like, it's just a dog, or something. I'm like, bro, like, there's so much more to it where it's just, maybe that's just my overthinking.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like, bro, like, there's so much more depth to it, and it's just like I'm enamored with the whole, like, the psychology of it with people.
Yeah.
Also, the fact that, like, whenever we think we know everything, you fucking don't.
Uh-huh.
That's why we have people like badass Forrest Galante who goes out there finding creatures that we wrote off as, oh no, dude, that thing's extinct. Like, shut up. And he goes out there and he goes, nah, bam,
Actually.
and he has a picture of it, and he's just holding it like, yeah, what's up,
Uh-huh.
So, like, I love people like that, dude. I have so much respect for that guy. Like, dude, he's seen some wild shit. Like, he's seen people get jacked up by crocodiles and this and that. Like, that dude's been in the trenches. So, like, he got so much respect from me. Because he just goes out there and he's like, all right, like, word, we heard about what? All right, let's see what's up. And
it's my kind of people.
and he just helps keep that alive for me, because it's like, dude, like, we don't know everything, and we have people like this that are going out there and finding
we need
stuff.
more people like that.
We do. And the problem is that they don't get funding, they don't get this, they don't get that, because there's no money in it. People don't give a shit. Why would you? Like, what? Why, if I'm a big company, like, let's say I'm like, oh, like, oh man, I'm this big ass oil company, or I'm this or that. Like, why I'm a big, school or whatever. Like, why am I gonna invest into this dude finding a fucking tortoise that we thought was extinct? What's that tortoise gonna do for me?
You could have it be your new mascot at your school.
No, because you remove it and it dies. Oh, you took.
We just got a new mascot. Shut up, Khristopher.
Oh no, we took it out of the ecosystem and now it's dead. So it's like there's all that stuff with it where it's like, just when you think that you know the full story, you don't, and I love that aspect of it, because I like the unknown.
Mm-hmm.
I like the what if. I like all that stuff, because I think that it's healthy to have that, like, sort of imagination.
Mm-hmm.
And in a sense, like, I love that we just have this ongoing wonder of all this stuff. Like, even here, like in North America, like, we end up finding all these things that shouldn't be in our ecosystem, and then we're like, oh shit, what are you doing here?
Mm-hmm.
So I think that that's cool, but on the other side of it, it's also kind of fucked up, because a lot of this stuff is happening because of climate change.
Yeah. What do you mean?
Hey,
that's not a thing.
Hey, polar bear, what are you doing over here? He's like, bitch, have you seen what's going on?
That's
But even you being, like, as
sad.
skeptical as you are,
Mm-hmm.
you got to kind of agree with the whole, the dream of it.
The dream of it? Okay.
Like the whole, like,
I'll agree with there's dreamers. There's dreamers and believers, and yeah, I'll agree with that.
But I think that now that you kind of hear where I'm coming from, where it's like,
I still don't believe in any of it.
Well, when you go, oh yeah, like, I believe in this and I believe in that, it's like, no, that's a very shallow mindset. Like, no, like, let me tell you more, and it's kind of like the way
I will always listen, because I'm trying to find some truth behind something.
No, but
like, open the door for me. I'm trying to walk through. I'm trying to see it from your point of view. I'm trying to see how you, and not you specifically, but I'm saying, like, people, like, how they have such a firm belief on something, and I'm just like, can I see it from your perspective? I want it to make sense, though.
And I think that that's one of the things that it's like, as people are kind of going, as we're going through with our episodes and things like that, where it's like, it's not so simple with me. Like, when I tell you, oh, I believe in this, I believe in that, it's not as simple as that. Like, I believe in that but let me tell you how I believe in it, you know?
And that's why
It's
I'm
like
all ears.
it's like me telling you like, oh, like I believe in Bigfoot, but it's like, no, let me tell you how, you know?
And I will always do that. If you just told me, "Hey, I believe in this," I'll be like, "Well, like, what led you there?" And then I come at you bombarding you with a
Yeah,
ton of
because
questions.
I don't want to be bunched
But I'm
in.
just curious about it. Like,
Yeah,
how? How did you come to believe that?
like
Like, you didn't wake up one day and said, "I'm going to believe in Bigfoot," or whatever. And that's where my curiosity comes in, and I'm just like nitpicking
you know,
in a sense.
for me, it's the fact that like I'm always, you know, keeping my ears out and just learning more and just finding people again like that guy Forrest, where his whole thing is finding things that we didn't think were around. Just
Hmm.
finding things like that just reinforces the whole thing of like, dude, you don't know everything, you know. and
Literally.
and again, the way that he finds things is kind of the way that the way I believe in things, where it's like, all right, a lot of people are saying this and it's like some crazy creature that they're picturing,
Hmm.
but that kind of like its characteristics kind of line up with this creature that we thought was extinct. Maybe that's what it is, you know. So it's like, for me, I think the biggest problem that a lot of people get into is that they say that they believe in something, and they go, a lot of people go down this rabbit hole, or they have this bias where they're like, all right, this guy believes in Bigfoot. Oh fuck, he probably believes in, the Bigfoot that can turn off electronics and do this and do that. And it's like, no, like that's not the case. Is that like, I believe that there could randomly be some bipedal hominid type creature that just ended up getting landlocked in these certain regions, and it just kept such a small population because who knows how it procreates,
Hmm.
where there's animals that only have a certain, like there's sharks that only have a certain amount of young every time, so like they have to really protect them because they just don't have that many babies.
Yeah, yeah.
And you never know, like they could be in this point where it's like you have this creature that can't really mix with other ones, so its population is so low just because it's the only
Population
one
control.
that it can kind of mess around with.
Hmm.
So it's like, that seems more likely, where it's like, all right, we have this like random, some sort of a primate, some sort of a bipedal, some sort of something. That seems more likely than somebody coming up to me and telling me, oh yeah, bro, this is fucking Bigfoot. I couldn't take a picture because it's a mythical creature that can shut down. Shut the fuck up. Like, you hearing yourself right now, you're telling me that this thing has mystical powers that shut off your camera, and that's why you couldn't take a picture of it. You hearing yourself right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
you know and I think that that's kind of where we kind of get lost with communication with each other, is that,
Just got to know where to draw the line.
yeah, and also not just draw the line, but also
I'm
be
drawing the
open to
line.
accepting the fact that you know things can be more than what they seem. There can be a lot more going on there.
Uh, well, or not. Because I drew that line and I'm going to go with or not. Um, I just think it's scientists messing with people.
But you have to kind of encourage the discovery of it. Like, at least you can be like, I don't think that exists, but you're not gonna stop. Like let's say you were in a position of controlling some sort of,
Oh,
something like that, where it's
I'm
like,
in a
all right,
position of control. Got it.
would you prefer to be like, no, this doesn't exist, don't even go out there and explore it, or be like, well, I don't think it exists, but there might be something out there, go check it out.
No, it's far more entertaining to have the people go out and explore and see what they come up with.
Exactly. you know and
That's
and
so entertaining.
and
Look at
that's
us.
and that's the problem, is that a lot of people just close that door. A lot of people just close that door and go, nope, why are we wasting time? Where it's like, why wouldn't you want to go out there, and what if you find some crazy ass animal, and it's not a Bigfoot, it's not this, it's not that, it's not a Loch Ness monster, it's this or that. Like, how
You could
crazy?
give it a name.
Yeah, like how crazy would
And
that
now you're
be?
going in history.
And not only that, but you solve the mystery. You solve the mystery. It's like, hey
That's
guys,
right.
sorry, it's not a Loch Ness monster. It's this, this like amphibian or this, lizard or this or that, where it's just a descendant of this dinosaur that just got locked into this ecosystem.
Mm-hmm.
And now we got this. Hey guys, sorry, it's not a Bigfoot. It's a fucking monkey that just kind of ended up here.
Crossbreeded with the bear.
Yep. It's a monkey bear.
Let's
bonky.
Bear? No.
Oh man, it's one of them bonkies.
Wait, no, I'm trying to get a better name.
I don't know until you think of something better. Bonkies.
Bonky. It sounds too much like a donkey. I'm not happy with that name. Then they're gonna be rhyming bonky donkey. No, don't do that to my don't do that to my animal that I just named.
You have yet to come up with a cooler name than
I
Bonky.
don't know.
You see?
I was gonna say monkey.
You're just saying it with a little bit more zest.
A little monkey. No. Shut up. Bonky.
You finished or you done?
Bonker bonky. Bonker bonky.
You're fucking wild.
No, your bonky's wild.
But yeah, dude, like I love it. I love the curiosity. I love the unknown.
I think I have way too much curiosity. I think that's my problem.
As long as you
it's a good problem.
As long as you don't close the door.
I can't. What? How can I close the door?
No, but I'm saying
I can't ever do that.
When you think of somebody being a skeptic, you think, at least, my mindset is that when I think somebody's a skeptic, like I think that they're not gonna kind of hear you out because they're like,
no,
they're kind of like, no, like I don't think that's true. Like no,
for
like,
me, being a skeptic just means that I tend to question a lot more than the normal person would, and I just and it's a normal, healthy thing to do, but it doesn't mean that I'm gonna stop listening and stuff, because as a skeptic, I want to know more, and that is never gonna end for me. Just the wanting to know more, so I ask more questions, and then I just research more. And I mean, I guess that's why every night I also have to read articles, because I just question so damn much. So I mean, it is what it is. As out there as this topic was for me, I mean, like I said, I'll still listen, and I'll still have my questions, but whether they can be answered or not, it doesn't mean that I shifted to one side more than the other. I'm still just kind of in the middle, like, okay, well, I could see it being like this. I could also see it being like that. I'm still stuck with a ton of questions, but that's my life.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, the answers that we get, a lot of times people won't be happy with it because
it's as good as it's gonna get.
Well, no, it's because it's like, there's been certain mystical creatures where they just turn it into, like, they end up answering the question. They're like, well, no, it was actually just this animal, so it's like not everybody's going to be happy with it, but I love it. I personally love it because even if it's just a certain animal that we thought wasn't around anymore and it turns out it is, or something that evolved into a different, the same animal but with just different attributes to it.
Mm-hmm.
I love that because at its core it was grounded in reality, and we're the ones who turned it into something that was beyond belief. So so I think that's
process that for a bit, you guys.
I think that's kind of why I love it. Is that at the end of the day, it started somewhere. It started with some foundation of an actual
at its
animal
origin. It was logical.
Somebody saw something and they went, yo, this is what it is. Telephone game and human nature morphed into something it's not. And then these people just have this idea of this mystical, crazy
And let's
creature,
face it,
and it just turns out to be something lame.
There's people that they hear something and then they have to add their 2 cents into it because it's gonna sound cooler that way.
Yeah, it's like anytime you tell a story, sometimes the story might not sound as cool in your head, so you kind of
Yeah.
spice it up.
Yeah. No, you gotta zest it up a little bit.
Yeah, bro. This is 7-foot tall, hairy Sasquatch man that turned off my camera. But yeah, so it's like I think at the end of the day, like the answers that we get, nobody's ever going to be happy with it because people don't like to be wrong. But I love it.
You go keep watching your videos. You go keep admiring. What was his name?
Forrest Galante.
Forrest Galante. You go keep admiring your Forrest Galante, and I'm gonna move it along to a next topic though.
Okay.
I'm gonna move it along. Not right now. Not right now. For the next one.
You're dumb. But yeah, so.
But you keep admiring your stuff. That's cute.
Yeah, I mean, keep that healthy wonder. Keep your mind open, because at the end of the day, just when you think you know something, it's gonna be something else. You never know.
Mm-mm.
So don't hold on to these. Just be open. Just be open. You never know.
You got ideas, but be open to other ideas.
But I mean, any final thoughts, Krystal?
No. I want to attach photos and stuff to this though, because I came across some really cool looking photos and stuff with all the cryptids, and it's pretty fun to look at.
Yeah.
All the photos and just to see the variety
of
the
drawings.
same one. Yes, and oh dear God,
There's
the
lots
drawings.
Of funny ass drawings.
The drawings, they're definitely not artistic like me. But
no.
I could see that what they were trying to do.
The Mothman drawings are hilarious, by the way.
That's what I'm saying. So we got to attach those to this because those really, I think that was the highlight for me.
Yeah, we'll toss them.
Especially because that was as close as I could get to seeing what these people claim to have seen, because the videos were garbage.
There's really no.
Videos are terrible. I was like, I'll take your drawing.
if we had videos, we wouldn't be having this conversation
exactly.
right now. Yeah, but I mean, keep an open mind, but also don't get lost in the sauce, guys. Like, come on, have an open mind, but be realistic. Like, don't say that a Sasquatch kidnapped you and had their way with you.
Don't be embarrassing.
But yeah, so that will do it for episode 2. Don't forget to show that support, like, comment, subscribe, buy Krystal snacks.
I will gladly take any snacks. And she's
looking for actual, some sort of either a snack or a drink to sponsor her.
I will happily talk about it.
It doesn't even have to be good. She'll take it.
What? It will be good though. Don't you worry. Even if it, according to Khristopher, isn't that great, it will be great.
Drink your conspiracy juice.
Yes.
We'll catch you on the next one.
We will.
Peace out.
Okay.